And welcome back to Soul Healing with the ETs. This is our third installment. I'm Alex, and tonight we are going to talk about something really juicy, our soul's purpose. So we always hear that we have a purpose here on earth. We all have a different purpose, but we never really talk about it very much, and then we get distracted and change the subject. So our soul does have a purpose here on earth, a mission, a destiny. And up in soul land, in soul space, our soul with its teachers of light carefully chooses the experiences that it wants to experience in this upcoming incarnation. So view it like a college or university student who is selecting their classes at college for the next upcoming semester. So the soul chooses what it wants to experience, and the soul can want to experience illness, or or being poor, being wealthy. Can choose to live through, to learn through relationships. There's a myriad of things that can play into this, because our soul is indestructible, wants to learn everything there is to learn. Okay, so you have your soul contract. View it as the different lessons that you want to experience. And while you're here on earth in this incarnation, and every soul has a different soul contract. We all are here to experiment different things. Now, me personally, I'm an old soul. I've been on earth many, many, many thousands of times in different forms, not just human, but plants, rocks, trees. We discussed that in the first video. Okay, so what is a nice fictitious example? Okay, so let's pretend that you want to incarnate as an identical twin. So you're going to have we're going to do two females. Okay, so two identical females, and they will not have any brothers or sisters. They'll have a mother and a father, and it's going to be in New York City. Okay, now for the first 30 years of your life, you and your sister do everything together. You're born together, you grow up together, you're educated together, you have all the same friends, you're always together. You eat your meals together, and you go to university together. But at university, one of the main sister, she is studying law, and she is completely going to be engulfed in her law career. And she wants to be the managing partner at a prestigious law firm in New York City. Now, the other sister, she's studying travel tourism, and she's going to travel the world and work in different countries and get to experience what it's like traveling around the world and working in different countries. I want to do that life. Okay. Now, so the two sisters till the age of 30 are glued together, and then they rent an apartment together, and then the deal is at age 30 they will part ways. And one sister will be focused on the career, the other sister will start traveling. So on her soul contract, the first thing they're both living is what kind of experience it is doing everything together, being stuck like glue. And then another experience in the soul contract is what it's like to have separation anxiety when the two sisters separate. So the one sister is working non-stop at the law firm, while the other sister is gallivanting around the world. And the other sister, well, she meets her future husband, who also loves traveling and working in different parts of the world. And they meet on a ferry in the Philippines, okay, going between two islands, right? So then they continue traveling around the world, and then they decide to get married and settle in Timbuktu. What a great place to settle. Yeah. And to get to experience that. Now, our sister at the law firm, so she becomes managing partner at the law firm. So that's another experience, right, on the soul contract. And while the other sister, does her travels around the world and gets married. So that's an experience in her soul contract. And then they agree at age 55 that they will reunite. So the New York sister will sell her shares in the managing, because she's the managing partner in the firm now. She will sell her shares, and then she will move over to Timbuktu, and then she will marry the husband's best friend. Okay, yeah. So, and then she will set up some kind of a small law practice in Timbuktu. So the soul contract is the list of lessons that are assigned in our life. Okay, so how does it go down? There's up in soul land, in soul space, there's a great big meeting between all the souls, like a giant meeting between all the souls, and you broadcast what it is that you want to do in this upcoming incarnation. And then the souls present themselves one by one and say, hey, I want to be your twin sister. I want to experience what it's like to be stuck like glue and then travel around the world. I can't wait to experience what it's like to travel around the world and experiment all the different countries and the different cultures. And another soul presents itself and says, hey, I'm going to be the husband, okay? And another soul says, oh, I'm going to be the captain of the ferry in the Philippines, and I'll make sure that these two meet on the bridge on my ship, okay, so that they meet. I'll make sure that happens. Another soul will say, hey, I'm going to be the best friend of the husband, and then you and the New York lawyer, and we're going to get married and live in Timbuktu. Another soul steps up and says, I'll be the real estate agent in Timbuktu who offers a nice apartment to the New York lawyer when she comes over to Timbuktu. Two souls will show up and say, hey, we're going to be the two lawyers, the main partners at the New York firm, and we're going to hire you as an articling student, and we are going to rub you hard. Like, we're going to polish you. We're going to make you into the best lawyer New York has ever seen. We're going to take care. So we're going to polish you like a diamond. And they track her every move up until she takes over the company. Now, someone steps in and says, I want to be your father of the two twins, but there's a caveat. I am going to be gay in this lifetime, and I think that by marrying a woman and having two kids, that'll make me heterosexual. Yeah. I want to experience what that's like. And then another soul shows up and says, I want to be the mother of the two twins, and then think I'm in this bliss relationship with this man who's going to adore me during his entire life, but then turns out that he's gay, and he meets a Brazilian man, and off he goes to Brazil. And then I become extremely depressed and a raging alcoholic, because I want to experience that. So all the souls want to experience different things, but we're all interconnected. So there's this grand meeting where it's all coordinated, how all the souls will be interconnected one with the next. And it's basically like an immense Broadway show. There's this huge performance. And then boom, the performance of your life begins. Now, certain souls will show up right from the get-go, right from birth, and then others will show up when you're a child, and others will show up when you're a teenager, and then an adult, and an older adult. This is all programmed in advance. It's all done in advance. We all have what are called soul contracts, which are basically an agreement. There's nothing written. They're souls, right? It's not written. I mean, it's an agreement. Now, if ever a soul cannot make that agreement because it's being withheld in another life, let's say, then another soul will present itself to take that soul's place. Okay, it's a grand opera, basically, a big Broadway show. And if you listen to people like Dolores Cannon and how she says, when we go to the other side, when we pass, and we see our whole life unfolding, and you're there, oh yeah, look at all these, how these people all came one after another. It's just like, well, so the show begins. Okay, now, how do you know that you're on the right path? Great question. Okay, how do you know you're on the right path? Okay, well, firstly, we can start with certain people are destined to come into your life to help heal something, to for an occurrence in a past life, something that's unresolved, which is coming back, or an occurrence in this life. So I'll give you an example. When I moved to the city, I had very crooked teeth, and my upper jaw was not curved well. My mouth was pretty much a mess. Now, that is something I chose pre-incarnation. I chose to have this crooked mouth, and I would have to resolve that as one of my lessons. Okay, but anyway, so I was playing hockey one day, and I was in the dressing room, and there was a guy. We were both in our mid-30s, and there was a guy wearing braces, and I asked the guy. It's just like, hey, how is it wearing braces when you're in your 30s? And is it like, is your dentist, what's your dentist like? And the guy looked at me, he said, oh, you gotta go see my dentist. My dentist is the best thing since sliced bread. He's amazing. I'm there, hey, chill, buddy. Okay, we'll go see your dentist. And, oh yeah, this guy was good. And he expanded my upper jaw by 1.5 centimeters and straightened all my teeth and rebuilt some teeth. Like my teeth look 50 times better than they used to look. So he was placed into my life to heal something, well, actually more than one thing within me. Now, 2 years ago, I was at the same dental clinic, and then I met this woman who had never met ever before in my life, and the two of us just started talking. We're on the same frequency, and we exchanged numbers. And then I went home, and she started sending me emojis and videos about spirituality. And she basically tilted my, how would you say, got me into a different field with a different vision, a different purpose, and looking into spirituality. So again, that happened at the same dental clinic. So as certain people are placed, they're destined to be placed into your life because they agreed to this, before incarnation. Right? Okay, now, the one emoji she sent me that really stuck in my mind was your passions and interests are not random. They are connected to your purpose. That's a good thing to keep in mind. Well, I think it's a good thing to keep in mind. To help you fulfill your soul contract, you're also supported by soul guides or spirit guides, guardian angels, other angels, and people to help you. It's a team effort. Remember, this is all set up in advance. It's a giant orchestra. It's a team effort, right? So I've heard that we have multiple spirit guides. I've heard that we just have one or two. But what I can tell you is in this, maybe it depends on the complexity of your incarnation. If you're going to be a plant, you probably don't need 16 spirit guides, right? But in this incarnation, I have 5. And one has been my spirit guide, guardian angel, ever since the get-go in Andromeda, zillions of years ago. One is my spirit guide here on Earth for my Earth incarnations, but they're always watching over me. One is for my relationship guide, so I'm going to have a new partner coming into my life imminently in the next weeks or months. 2 are my more career guides, and they're taking care of this new movement that I'm in right now. I've always been a tour guide for years and years, but I always knew there was something bigger that was waiting for me. I just never knew what it was, and tour guiding was so much fun that I just stuck with it. But then, hey, this is now taking me in a different path, right? So the soul guides are there to guide you. Okay. Now, if you're open enough, you will always receive messages, clues, signs. Okay. But if you're constantly listening to the television like nonstop, and then the music is blaring nonstop, and then the radio is going nonstop, I don't think you're going to be getting that many messages because you're not tuned in, right? So it's important to have some time every day to, without all the noise, so you can be receptive to those messages. What kind of messages are we going to receive when to know that we're on the proper path to fulfilling our life's purpose? You're going to receive synchronicities, seemingly unconnected events that actually are connected, these strange coincidences, for instance. So last weekend, I was going to a party, and the temperature was way below freezing here in the city, and heavy wind chill on top. And the party was about a 35-minute walk from home. So I said, okay, well, I'm going to walk there. And then as I left home, I said, maybe I should take the subway. And then I got to the subway station, and oh no, the subway's closed for the weekend. So, okay, I'm walking. And as I walked, I said, okay, so I'm starting to do this now. I said, spirit guides and my own soul, right? Okay, guys, I need a clear, visible sign of what I'm talking about in the upcoming podcast, if it's material you want me to talk about, or if it's stuff you don't want me to talk about. And I also want a sign as if I should do one great big long video, or I should do two shorter videos. Okay, make it clear, because otherwise I won't see it. So I walk down this street, I walk along the other street, walk down one, walk along another one, and I reach a small fork, and I'm there. Should I go to the next intersection and turn left, or should I go down this one-way street? And then my intuition said, turn left down the one-way street. So I walked down that street, and halfway down the street, there's these two bananas on the sidewalk. And I'm there, oh, someone lost their bananas. That's a shame. And I could tell they were fresh because the temperature's very cold and they looked very fresh. And then I took another 20 paces and I stopped and I turned around and I said, that's a sign for me. And then there was a couple coming down the sidewalk and I raced back to the bananas. I said, hey, those are for me. And the guy laughed and I put the bananas in my pocket and I took off. So the two bananas, well, first of all, banana is my favorite meal. Right? It's my favorite food. And second of all, there was two of them. So that told me, oh, I probably need to do two different videos. So if you're attentive, you can see these signs. Now, one of my friends is going to say, hey, Alex, there was a supermarket 2 blocks away. The bananas were just, hey, I've been to the supermarket 5,000 times over my life. You know how many times I found bananas 2 blocks away? 0. Okay, that was a sign for me. The bananas were fresh, and I had asked the spirit guides in my soul, 12, 14 minutes earlier for a clear sign. Okay, so another way to know that you're on the proper path to getting to your purpose is if you know the proper people at the proper time when you're seeking guidance, information, and assistance. So I'll give you another example. I was back home for Christmas a year ago, and it was cold. Every day was cold. It was cold winter, and there was snow. So I was barely outside my parents' home, right? I went out to do some shoveling and take them for a walk, but I wasn't outside very much. It was cold. And I kept running into this younger woman, right, who was always walking her kid. And we introduced ourselves, but it was cold, so we didn't talk much. She had her kid, right? And we just keep bumping into each other day after day after day, and then we're laughing about it. Like, how is this happening? And it turns out that she's the new partner of one of my old school buddies from when I was a teenager who had just moved down the street with her. So anyway, I come back to the city, and she messages me on Facebook and says, I hope I'm not intruding, but my partner gave me your name, and I thought that the next time you come see your parents, we could get together and just talk. And they're, yeah, sure, why not? So, but we started talking a lot on Facebook, and then, but the next time I went over, I went to her place, and then we're chatting, and we're chatting about, let's say we're chatting about bananas, right? Yeah. Oh, and by the way, a little segue here, yeah. You know those 2 bananas that the spirit guides left out for me? They were delicious, but next time, can you make them larger and maybe organic, right? But they were good. I forgot to mention that earlier. So we're basically talking about bananas, and then she just changes the subject, like boom, and she says, hey, you should contact my friend. She would give you guidance in your life and show you what you should do next. And I was kind of like, where did that come from? We're talking about bananas. So anyway, so she sent me her number, and then I said, whatever, and left it back there. And then, so I came back to the city, and 2 months later, in the middle of August, I come in from hockey, and there's a voice inside of me saying, contact that person. And they're, okay, I'll contact the person. And I texted her, she texted back, and we set up an appointment. And then, so I phoned her and I said, hey, my friend said that you could give me guidance in my life and tell me what I should do next. And she says, no, I don't work like that. You have to ask me questions. And then, vroom, inside of me, I have no idea where this came from, was the podcast. And then I'm there, where did that come from? And then I'm there, well, I might as well ask it. Should I have a podcast? And then she's there, whoa, this is a huge yes. All the channels are opening up. There's beams of light coming through. And you gotta do this. And they're, who are you talking to? And then she says, I'm talking to your spirit guides and your soul. And I was there, whoa. And here we are 4 months later doing this podcast. And I don't know where it's going to go, but I'm along for the ride because I know it's part of my purpose. Okay, so that's 2 ways to know that you're on the right track, that you see messages, signs, and that you know the right people at the right time. View your purpose, view your soul contract as the mountain you were destined to climb. There are many different ways of getting up the mountain. There are many different methods of getting up the mountain. But, the fate, the end goal is to reach the finish line. What if you don't tick off all the lessons in your soul contract? Then you go up back into spirit form, and then you can look back, and then of course you remember absolutely everything in spirit form because your memory is not wiped out, because when we incarnate here on earth, they do wipe our memory out. If we were to remember everything from all the other incarnations, then it wouldn't be a true experience. So your memory must be wiped out. I think we talked about that in the first video. But when you go back up into soul form, you could look back down on earth and say, oh, that's where I went wrong. I kept sending Jimmy gifts all the time for his birthday. I was so busy driving all the fancy sports cars, I just sent him gifts. But what he wanted me to be there for his birthday, and I just kept sending gifts. No wonder he hated me so much, and he took off when he was 16. Oh, well, my next incarnation, I'm going to go back and I'm going to fix that. I'll do it all over again because I got to pass that lesson. Okay, so there's many different ways of reaching the top of the mountain. Each one gives us a different experience. Yeah. It's not a race to see how fast you can reach the end, the finish line. It's also not at all about climbing someone else's mountain. That's for them to do. You focus on your mountain. That's what I'm doing right now. And I'd say the biggest challenge is to be true to ourselves and climb our mountain excited by the journey that we designed before we incarnated. And this is hilarious. So our soul designed this journey for this human body to follow. all the ups, all the downs, all the emotional roller coaster, all the hardships, and the joy and happiness. and it was all done in advance before the incarnation. And we're here to carry it out, to give our soul different experiences here in a three-dimensional world like Earth. Whew! Okay, and why don't we end this video on this point? Leave some comments in the comments section. If we can start a little forum going there. There's so much information out there. I tried to corral it into a fun little video. Listen to it again if you need to, and see how it sinks in you. If you have a friend you think this might help, please send to a friend. And I know it's my purpose. I know I'm here. I'm going to be able to help other people. I'm not going to be able to help everybody, but if I can help even one person, then it was worth it, right? But I'm sure I'm going to be able to help more than one person. Yeah, see how it sits in you, see how it resonates within you. If you could give it a thumbs up, that would be even better. And even better than a thumbs up, of course, it would be to subscribe. And we'll have more videos coming out as we figure things out going forward into the podcast. I said we'll have guests down the road as well. And on closing, I would like to dedicate this video once again to Jesus. To Jesus, this is for you. And on that, I will see you guys all next time.